Hello and welcome back to Optima PS. This is Nick, your host, and I really am very, very grateful that you've come back to listen to me one more time. I am aware that this is my third ever YouTube video, and I'm not nearly as slick or as skilled as some of the guys out there, so I do very much appreciate you coming back to give me another go. In terms of today's video, the video is very clearly titled, How Much XRP Do I Need? And it's a question that came up just over this week when I was fortunate enough to be in a forum, if you like, or a chat room on social media platform X with two or three of the community members I really have a lot of time for. I really respect their knowledge bank. I respect what they do and what they bring to the table to help us guys out. I won't name drop for now because A, I've not asked their permission, and B, it's not really my style to name drop. But if you're listening, guys, I am very, very grateful for what you do. But during this conversation, which I was pretty much sitting back and thoroughly enjoying whilst I was doing a bit of exercise, somebody came up and asked a question, and it's one I've heard so often in the traditional finance world and in crypto in general. How many XRP do I need? And it's such a subjective question, right? And it's something that gets asked so commonly because we all want to know. We want those magic beans. We want that answer that says, you, sir, you need 10,000. You, madam, you only need 5,000. You need 25,000 for this reason. And no one can give you that answer. Without knowing you intricately, no one can give you that answer. You know, if I were to give this answer as a financial advisor to someone who has hired me to give my financial advice, even then I'd have to ask a whole series of questions. I mean, on that matter, just so everyone is aware, by the way, I am a financial advisor. I've mentioned this before. But what I've mentioned every time is that you should not take anything I say or do in this video as me giving financial advice. You would know if I were to give you financial advice. I'd complete a fact-find questionnaire. We'd sign 7 or 8 pieces of paper that strictly point out that I am giving you financial advice. And even then, I'd need to be in your correct jurisdiction, which I probably am not, bearing in mind you guys could be from anywhere in the world. And so anything I say or do here is absolutely not financial advice. It's just a guy on the internet expressing his opinion and hopefully sharing some information that will be useful to you. And you know, just thinking out loud really on this video. So going back to the question, what I would do to help someone establish the answer to that is I would say, well, listen, firstly, what you need to do is understand what you want to achieve from this. You know, with a traditional financial advisory route, we're normally talking about planning for retirement or for later on in life. And I would say, you know, what does financial freedom mean to you? And I'll always get the exact same answer back. I'll get it in a varying forms, but it's always pretty much a take on, I want to be able to do what I want when I want without worrying about the expenses. That's basically what everybody initially says they want to achieve. And whilst that is incredibly useful to know, I mean, I've never had anyone go, I want to be living on the breadline. I want to struggle for what I want to do in my daily life. Everybody wants that kind of financial freedom. But what does it mean to you? You know, and that's where I have to probe and dig in and find out exactly what financial freedom means to the individual. To someone, it might be, I want to be able to retire living in a 7-bedroom mansion in Beverly Hills overlooking the valley. I want to be able to jump on a business class flight or even a private jet, go out to the Caribbean, sail around in my own personal yacht, stop in every port, eating fine dining every single night, and live whatever lifestyle the multi-millionaire dreamer in me can think of. Somebody else might turn around, somebody a bit more like myself, and go, well, I quite enjoy what I do today. I probably wouldn't give up work fully. I'll continue to do this, but I'll do it on a basis where I'm not reliant on the income. I like to play golf twice a week. I do like to head out to the beach. I need a couple of beers with the guys once a week, maybe date night with my wife once a week. And that's about it, you know. And so it's a very different subject matter for different people. And that's just talking about what you want in retirement life. You know, what do you want your crypto portfolio to do for you is such a big question. So I always say there is one person out there who can answer this question perfectly, and that's you. It's not me, it's you guys. You could sit down and think to yourself, what would I want to achieve from it? Why do I put my money in every month? Yeah, I want to be rich. Yeah, I want to be rich. But what do I actually want to achieve once I'm rich? What do I want my lifestyle to be? And only you know the answer to that. So sit down and give it some real thought. If I was to knock on your door today and say, I'm going to come back on the 1st of every month for the rest of your life and write you a check that covers everything you want it to cover. What kind of lifestyle am I paying for? And that helps determine the size of that monthly check. From the size of the monthly check, we can work everything else out. It's very easy to work out how much you need in your pot. It's very easy to work out what inflation will do to erode the value of that pot, so you can take inflation into account. You can do all that on Google. So for you to know what that lifestyle is, that's the bit I can't help with. So you guys need to sit down and do it the old-fashioned way. Take out a piece of paper and think to yourself, if this was today, if I was living my dream lifestyle right now, what would it be? And therefore, how much money do I need every single month? And that's how you establish what you need this portfolio to be worth. But that gets me around to the next question, which was an unasked question. But every time somebody asks the question, how much do I need? What they're really asking underneath is, how much do I have to put in? Because how much do I need? The answer is it can be infinite, right? How long's a piece of string? The more you have, the more you will get. That's the way investment works. The more you put in, the more you will get out. Should I therefore throw every last penny in and live on bread and water for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. No. I've seen 1,000 people fail when it came to their financial planning, and almost every time one of the contributing factors to that failure is that they invested too much too soon. They committed themselves to too much money every month, and a year, 2 years, 5 years into this cycle, something changed in life, or they just got bored of living on. All my buddies go out, watch the football once a week, they play golf once a week, they can spend some money, so-and-so got a new car, so-and-so got a new kitchen, and here I am putting all my money away for retirement. That's not what this is about. What this is about is putting an affordable amount away today, but not at the sacrifice of today. There's no point ringing me at age 69 and saying, fantastic news, Nick, I finally retired, I've got a wonderful retirement to look forward to, but I had a dreadful 40 years to get there. I've got no memories from the last 40 years because I concentrated so hard on ensuring retirement would be perfect. That's not what we're there for, and you won't last the course. No one gets through that. So what the idea is here to best answer this question is to go, what can I comfortably afford? Maybe feel the pinch. You don't want to sell yourself short and only put $2 a month in. You're never going to achieve your goals. Excuse me. But the easiest way is to go, what can I afford every month? Normally it's a different figure every month. And what's great about the crypto world is there's no set parameters. No one tells you you must put $1,000 a month in, $100 a month in, $10,000 a month, $10 a month. You can put in what you can afford at the time. And so anything that goes in will come out the other side. How do you digest an elephant? One small digestible bite at a time. That's what the old saying is, that's what it means. It means just do what you can at the time, and the rest will come together. I take a look at one or two things. There's a concept out there called dollar cost averaging, which I won't go into in a great deal today. I think you've all come across this concept before, but what it essentially means is, if I pay money in on a monthly basis and the price is volatile, well, some months I'll get more units at a lower price because the price has gone down. Some months I'll get fewer units at a higher price because the price has gone up. But if over a period of, let's say, 5 years, the coin, let's use XRP, is incredibly volatile, it goes up and down in value, I will make an average price, and ordinarily that average price works out better than if I'd thrown a lump sum in day one. And ordinarily, going away from the dollar cost averaging question mark, what really comes in useful with this is you'll invest more money than you invested day one. If you've got $5,000 in the bank now and you throw all $5,000 in, well, next month you're probably not going to be able to put $200 in because you've got no savings and you need that safety net to come back. Whereas if you put $100 in, $200 in, $500 in today, I don't know what your job is, what your income is, what your expenses are, but whatever number is the right number for you, if you do it this month, you can probably do it next month, you can probably do it the month after. So let's use that $5,000 in the bank. If your number is $250 a month that you could afford to put in instead of $5,000 and keep that $5 there as your safety net, well, in 10 months, you're going to have put away $2,500. That's half already. In 20 months, you're going to put away the $5,000. In 30 months, you're going to put in 7,500, which is more than, well, it's equal to 150% of that first amount. And you've done it with no stress, with no concerns, with no worries. Now, the downside is if you were to dollar cost average in beginning today, you're very, very unlikely to achieve those goals you have for yourself between now and the end of this bull. But the honest answer is in most investment markets, that's nigh on impossible anyway. Most people come to me and say, Nick, I want to save for the future. I'm 40 years old now. I want to retire at 65. 25-year savings plan. Yeah, most people will come to me and say, I've got 10 years left before retirement. I've realized my savings are inadequate. I need to top up what I've got. 10-year savings horizon, not a plan is an old-fashioned term, but savings horizon. The outlook between now and when you need this money back is 10 years. Very few people say, I've got 9 months of a crypto bull run. I need to make as much money as possible. It's a slightly different concept, but in the same respect, you can achieve your goals with that if you have a significant amount of money to throw in. I mean, we look at Bitcoin right now, $68,000 as we speak. Realistically, we're there or about the all-time high. It's come down ever so slightly, obviously, but we're just about the all-time high. So you look at the predictions for Bitcoin, they think about $100,000. Is it likely that any amount of money you could pay into Bitcoin today would achieve your goals in the next 9 months if you were to buy Bitcoin and see that uplift from $68,000 to $100,000? It's a 40% profit. But if the money in your bank would be enough to retire on with only a 40% growth over the entire investment horizon, you probably got enough money that you don't need to be thinking about this anyway. Realistically, for most people, if what's that sat there for you to invest right now is of a normal nature, $10,000, $20,000, this isn't going to be life-changing for you to buy Bitcoin. But if we take a look at 1, 2, 3, 4 bull markets in the future, then we're in a slightly different world. I mean, let's look at XRP. So to take XRP today, we're at 61 cents. I genuinely think it can go up significantly from here. I wouldn't be involved in the investment if not. How far can it go? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. The analysts I listen to, the guys I appreciate on socials, they turn around and say anything between $5 to $10 this bull market is conservative. Some people will go as high as $35 to $50. There's not many people shouting for $500 plus this time around. I think we'll see that when the utility kicks in later. But at this point in time, is it feasible to think we might get a 10x return on that 61 cents? Yes. Would a 10x return on that 61 cents allow me to retire with what I've accumulated? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be enough. It would be an awful lot closer to the goal than where I am right now, but it wouldn't be enough. 100x would be enough, but a 10x wouldn't. Now, if you're just beginning out in investment and you're asking me how many XRP do I need, then I imagine your existing number is relatively low. It's 1,000 XRP, it's 10,000 XRP, it's 20,000, whatever the number might be. But you've already looked at it and thought, I need more than that. So if we're looking at numbers like this, is it realistic that you'll achieve those goals in this bull market? Probably not. So we're talking about 1 or 2 bull markets in the future. And going back to that dollar cost averaging thing, this is what's really important. So if we take a look at the historical prices, this is an old bull market, or this is an old chart that goes back to the beginning of XRP, really. It's the all-time chart. Here we are today at 61 cents. Here's the all-time high. That doesn't quite accurately reflect it because of the way the chart works, but these numbers aren't important to me. What's important to me is going back here. So dollar cost averaging. That example we used before where you throw in the 600 or 800 bucks, I forget what it was now, and the answer was it's better to average in over a period of time than to throw it all in. But what's important with that is looking at these numbers. It wouldn't have mattered to if you came along in 2015 and said, I've got $1,000. Do I throw it all in today or do I average in over the next 2 years? Well, realistically speaking, $1,000 at this point at 1 cent, at this point at 0.06 cents, if you'd averaged in the dollar cost averaging, you'd have achieved more doing it the averaging route than the lump sum route. But let's be incredibly honest now. If you bought in at 0.01 or 0.01 at 1 cent per unit with $1,000, you'd be incredibly happy when we got to this point. And you wouldn't be bothered about whether or not you'd averaged along at these prices. If you had averaged along at these prices, you'd have had even more money than if you'd gone in at this point. But what I'm trying to explain here is over the course of time, we're going to be looking at these prices like we look at these ones. Or we're going to be looking at these prices here, 61 cents, like we look at these prices. When an XRP is $100, you're not going to be bothered if you threw $5,000 in today, or if you threw $50 in for 100 months, or if you threw 500 bucks in for 10 months. We're going to achieve those goals. We're just not going to necessarily achieve them in the next 18 months. But that's what investment is about. No one ever comes along and says, I want to be a millionaire overnight. Or at least they didn't until crypto. Until the crypto world came along and this thing seems remotely possible, you might go out there and pick a micro coin, a meme coin, or something that does do you that 1,000,000% growth. It's incredibly unlikely. The new Shiba Inu or whatever it might be. But with the exception of that, realistically speaking, we're talking about a investment horizon of 2 more bull markets. I certainly am for myself. Whether I sell when we get to the next peak or not, I don't know. It will depend entirely on what that price is at the time. I have certain numbers in my mind that I'm likely to sell 50% of my portfolio. I won't cash back into fiat. I'll keep that in some kind of stable coin. I'm not quite 100% decided which one yet, but I'll move it into a stable coin with a view to then averaging back in as the price dips. I've got in mind what I think is a high mark and a low mark. I'll know more at the time. Certainly when the world starts to dip down, I'll be able to better read where the peak was and where the troughs will be. I use various analysts that help me with things like this. But where we stand with this is, for my own personal goals, I'm not looking at what the price is going to be 18 months from now. It may shock the hell out of me. An XRP may go to a $500 coin, and trust me, if that happens, I'm out. I'm done. That's achieved all my goals. I don't think that will happen. I think what will most likely happen is we'll achieve a respectable number that definitely gives us all something to be very, very pleased about. And then we'll see the market come down again. And then we'll see the next bull market maybe 3 or 4 years later, which could well be the utility bull market. If that's the utility bull market, I expect that will be when I get out. Maybe we're seeing prices of 150 bucks, 200 bucks. That's enough for me to get out. Maybe not you. You do the maths on that with what we talked about before. But at some point we will know. But in the meantime, the important point is to do what you can afford to do. So the question isn't how many XRP do I need? The question is how many XRP can I comfortably afford to buy at this present point in time, either in a lump sum or in a monthly way, maybe a combination of both. If I've got $10,000 in the bank, I'm doing the maths on how much money I need for the next 3 to 6 months to cover all my expenses. What if the car breaks down? What if the kids need something for school? What if I need to take an emergency trip back home? All these questions need to be answered first. Right, so what's free? Normally for me, it's about $1,000 a month that I chuck in. Everyone's number will be different, but I'm aiming to see my investments come to fruition probably on the next bull run, maybe even on the one after that, because of the amount I pay in. If I had $1 million right now, I'd throw my $1 million in, I'd let it go up to $1, and I'd be out. Yeah, that would be enough for me. But I don't. And if I had $1 million now, maybe $1 million coming out in 6 months' time wouldn't be enough for me. But I'd throw it in and let it hit $5, and then I'd take it out. That would be enough for me. So it is a very subjective question on the individual. But realistically speaking, the point of this month's or this week's video is to say to you, it's not so much about how many you need. There's not a one size fits all. It's how many can I afford to buy today, afford to buy over the coming months, and what does that mean to me? If you can afford to throw in $100,000 now and you think it's going to hit $10 a coin and give you $1 million back, well, maybe that's the answer to you. But to most people, that wouldn't be the answer. If you can throw in $10,000 now without that affecting your life over the next 2 or 3 years, maybe that's the answer to you. But to some people, that's not the answer. So you need to sit down and work out what your numbers are. But once you know roughly what your numbers are, then you can achieve it. Because with those strategies like the dollar cost averaging in, with knowing roughly when keep your eye on YouTube, watch the Fear and Greed Index, look at the technical chart analysis guys that most appeal to you, that you think most accurately predict the markets, and say, I'll take some of their advice on board. I'll know when we're roughly at the top. I'll look to start moving out at this point in time, and I'll look to get back in again when the markets have corrected back down 25, 30, 50, 60%, whatever your number might be. And I'll look to build my portfolio in that way. Because to just pick a magic number out of the air, now, if I said to you, everybody in the world needs 10,000 XRP, that's just not going to work, because to one person, 10,000 XRP at $5 is a life-changing amount of money. And to somebody else, it's not even this year's family vacation. So we need to look at it a different way. You need to answer that question for yourself, but you need to look at the world and say, what do I want to achieve? What can I afford to do today to make a difference to my life? So hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. I'm sorry if I didn't answer the question as directly as you wanted, but it really is there's no one size fits all answer. It's a personal answer. So the only person on the planet who can find that answer is you. So I wish you all the best of luck with that. There will be another couple of videos coming out. If you like what I had to say today, I would be so grateful if you could like and subscribe to this video. It really does help me grow the channel with regards to YouTube. We all know how YouTube works, right? So I'd be incredibly grateful. If you think you might want to hear what I've got to say again, then that's the way to do it, because unless YouTube starts picking me up and people start listening to what I say, there's not a great deal of the point in doing this. I do enjoy it, but obviously I need an audience. So if you could like and subscribe, that would be incredibly fantastic for me. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best of luck. Please do drop any questions in the comments below as well, and I'll happily answer any question I can as best as I possibly can. But in the meantime, have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. All the best, Nick.